now. Back in England, the colonial rebellion becomes a national preoccupation. Over the next 3 years, Parliament keeps trying to impose its authority with new laws and new taxes. As each new law inflames the rebellion, it ends up getting repealed. Except for one, a tax on tea.
The principle involved is that Parliament is sovereign, it can pass laws on whatever it wants. So we're going to just keep this one in place, just because, to assert the fact that we can do this.
The Tea Act puts only a 3-penny tax per pound on the drink of choice for most Americans. It's hardly a burden, but in the current climate, a 3-penny tax still equals oppression. It's all that militant patriots need to strike another blow against the empire. Feathers and coal dust are their weapons. On December 16th, 1773, the Sons of Liberty enlist 50 men to darken their faces, stick feathers in their hair, and arm themselves with hatchets in a bad impersonation of Mohawk Indians. 5,000 people follow them down to Boston Harbor and watch as they climb aboard a merchant ship loaded with tea from England. With British soldiers absent since the Boston Massacre, there is no one to stop them. 342 crates of tea worth 10,000 British pounds are cast overboard. This wanton act of sabotage, which becomes known as the Boston Tea Party, will soon push the two sides to the brink of war.
The British reaction was disgust and outrage. From a British point of view, you had an entire colony running amok. And the British government, after the Tea Act, frankly said, we've had enough. We've had enough with Massachusetts. And we're going to clamp down on them. And we're going to make Massachusetts an example of what happens if you defy the authority of Parliament.
At that very same time, the British discover yet another outrage committed by an American, someone they thought they could trust, Benjamin Franklin.
The government quickly passed laws intended to punish the Massachusetts Bay Colony and to force its citizens into obedience. In America, these laws came to be known as the Intolerable Acts because they made living in Massachusetts extremely difficult. As a result of the Intolerable Acts, extra troops were sent to the colony to maintain order. Boston's harbor was shut down. Trade suffered badly. And the Massachusetts legislature was suspended, disrupting the colony's government. Immediately, committees of correspondence sent off letters. They warned of what might happen if Britain suspended other colonial legislatures, and suggested that representatives from every colony meet to find ways of resisting the Intolerable Acts.
Immediately disbanded. Be it enacted that Royal Army officers are authorized to quarter their troops among the citizenry. General Thomas Gage is hereby dispatched with 4 of our regiments to compel compliance with all these measures.
Gage's ships will close up the bay and cut us off from the rest of the country.
Boston must suffer martyrdom. Our principal consolation is that it dies a noble death.
Our people will not stand idly by. They have weapons and they know how to use them.
Against the British Empire?
The Congress will be meeting in Philadelphia to determine how to recover our rights and liberties. I've nominated you to represent Massachusetts. We're sending 5 men. You should be among them.
Does this Congress have any legal authority? Since all assemblies have been outlawed, I cannot imagine that it does. Sam, I repeat, does this Congress have any legal authority?
Toss pots.
Tensions escalate far beyond Boston. Settlers are pushing west. Many have their eyes set on new land west of the Appalachians. But to protect Native American lands, England has banned settlements along a boundary called the Proclamation Line. Hundreds are evicted from their homes on the frontier. September 5th, 1774.
We want liberty.
Incensed at the British actions, 56 delegates from across the colonies gather at the First Continental Congress in Philadelphia. It's the first step on the road to American democracy. Among them are John Adams, Patrick Henry, and a gentleman landowner from Virginia named George Washington.
At a time when our lordly masters in Great Britain will be satisfied with nothing less than the deprivation of American freedom, it seems highly necessary that something should be done to maintain liberty.
Across New England, people prepare to defend themselves. Smuggled arms are collected and stashed in secret hideaways. But while many expect conflict, most delegates in Philadelphia want peace with Britain.
A military action would make a wound that would never be healed.
That's good. Have all day. Let's go. Come on.
The First Continental Congress resolves that a British attack on any one colony will be regarded as an attack on all of them.
Let's go. You need to stack up the front.
What emerges at Philadelphia is solidarity.
The distinctions between Virginians, Pennsylvanians, New Englanders, and New Yorkers are no more.
The colonial soldiers are about to meet their first test. In a field outside Lexington, 77 militiamen have gathered to block the redcoat advance towards Concord. John Parker, leader of the Minutemen, knows the British outnumber his forces 10-1. He doesn't expect to defeat them. He just wants to send a message. We're here, we have guns, and we're going to resist. Major John Pitcairn, who commands the British troops, doesn't want to fight in Lexington. Running behind schedule, his goal is to secure a bridge farther west in Concord, but Pitcairn is forced to respond to the Minutemen's blockade.
Lay down your arms. Hold! Do not fire!
Neither side wanted a war to start. And so they stand there sort of face to face for a while.
Hundreds of professional soldiers confront dozens of militiamen armed with squirrel rifles and buckshot. Both Parker and Pitcairn issue orders not to shoot.
And somebody fired. And to this day, nobody knows exactly who fired. Was it a British soldier? Was it an American soldier? Was it a bystander? Who knows?
The shot triggers a hail of British bullets. The militiamen are overwhelmed and quickly retreat, some racing into the nearby woods. In 15 minutes, the Redcoats have routed the colonists. When the smoke clears, 8 patriots lay dead, and the British soldiers continue on their way to Concord. The Battle of Lexington seems to confirm the worst, that Americans have no appetite for battle.